Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ReAccess Live, a live event occurring every Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. My name is Michael, and I am a business analyst with the ReAccess team. I will be your host today for today's event. Before we get started, I just have a few reminders before we dive into today's topic. For those of you who are new to ReAccess Live, I want to call out that ReAccess is now available for entrepreneurs and small businesses. We have a new website to support the no-code community, which can be found at myreaccess.com. And we support the Build in Public initiative. So our mission here is to empower citizen developers and grow the no-code community. We'll be demonstrating that today through our topic of data-driven decision-making. I'm excited about today's topic specifically to show how any ReAccess application can be used as a repository to support data-driven decision-making. For those of you who don't know what data-driven decision-making is, it is the process of making organizational decisions based on actual data rather than intuition or observations alone. So we have our app in focus today, which is the NEAD app, National Equipment Appeal Database. And this was created and deployed in the UK early last year. The goal of it was to collect information related to PPE donations and request for PPEs, which is a personal protective equipment. So as we continue to collect data, the repository continues to grow and get larger. We were able to create a data model that would streamline the supply chain of allocating donations to requests. So right now I'm going to switch over to the app itself and show you the types of information that we collected. And then I will dive into Power BI, where we created the data model and created some analytical reports to determine the most efficient way for supply chain distribution. So here is the home page of the application. As you can see, it's the National Equipment Appeal Database. We have 4 different forms for collecting data. We've got donors, donations, recipients, and requests. So anybody that had PPEs that were able to donate, we would collect their name, the type of donor they are, could be company, private, charity, the region of the UK that they were in, their postal code, which is very important for the analytical report, and you'll see here shortly, and whether or not they were able to deliver those goods. Moving down the list, we've got the donations, where we collected all of the donor name, which are now accessible here. As you can tell, there was quite a bit of donors last year, the different categories, and their subcategories. Same for the recipients, as people needed PPEs, whether they're hospitals or other organizations. There's a contact person, region, name, and then we go to our requests. So they could request certain categories: gloves, sanitizer, masks, overalls, etc. So let's go ahead and look at a search for masks actually. So you can see there were 505 requests for masks alone. And now note those quantities vary. One person needed 1,000. So we can expand this list by 50. You can see there's an ever-growing list as we trucked through last year and got through. So as we collected all this information, we went to Power BI and we queried all of the data. And as you can see over here, these are the forms from our application. And this is all of the data that was collected in each of those forms. So as this list grew, we created a data model to relate those different forms or tables, where we were able to then create an analysis or analytical reports. So I'm going to show you the map first. Remember, I told you that we had to collect the zip codes. So now we were able to use that data to show us exactly where the PPE donations were and where their requests were. So we're going to drill down. We're going to let's look at masks. So as you can see, we're right up here at Manchester. And here. So you can see as we hover over, there was over 1,000 masks right outside of Manchester that were donated that needed to be distributed to the surrounding areas. When you look over on this side, these were all the requests for masks specifically. So using this, we could efficiently allocate those masks to these surrounding areas, as opposed to trying to ship them further south to London or elsewhere. And we can also zoom out even more and look at all of the items. So these were all of the donations throughout the United Kingdom. And as we zoom over here, we can see all of the requests for PPEs, which, to no surprise, there was an abundance of requests for any type of help. Another report that we put together was the quantity that were of each item that was ready to be delivered or be collected from donors. So we have an interactive graph here. We'll click on gloves. And this also filters down to the quantity donated versus the quantity requested and what our target was. Going even further, here's an entire list of all of our donors. We could filter the donors down by specific categories so that the appropriate personnel could reach out to each of these donors as needed. Jump over to the requests. And conversely, we have the requests where the donors could reach out directly to the people requesting. Moving over to our donor location and recipient location lists, it tells us where the donors are residing or where those companies are, and as well as the recipients. And lastly, these are the donations that have been fulfilled or not fulfilled. So we were able to put all of this together very quickly last year during the peak of the pandemic. And this was found to be extremely helpful over there. And again, this is one of my favorite parts of the ReAccess team, is being able to build these dashboards and interactive graphs, data visualizations. So I'm going to switch back to our presentation here. And before we go, just wanted to see if anybody had any questions related to what you've seen today. So we hope that you all join us next week at 12:30 p.m. for another episode of ReAccess Live, where we will cover modifying search screens and search results. Remember to follow us on Twitter at MyReAccess. And for more information about ReAccess, you can find us online at myreaccess.com. Thanks again for joining us today, and we all hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.